Let's jump to this story. We got this tweet that Alex just mentioned. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She said these foolish cowards want the government to take away guns and the rights of parents to defend their children in schools. You have to be an idiot to think gun control will create a utopian society where criminals disarm themselves and obey the law. Let's play this and see exactly what happened.
Children.
You're helping kids get shot in school.
No, I'm not.
Record me. I don't give a fuck.
No, you're a coward is what you
How
are.
am I a coward?
I love Marjorie.
You're the one running away. You're the one running
No,
away.
gun rights protect people. That stops people from...
Oh yeah, what does gun rights do for all the kids who keep getting shots in school? How am I a coward? Representative Green,
I just want to mention, like, it's funny. This guy is like, he's not good at what you do.
No, they're trying to do that. Real quick, they're copying my bit. After I get all this media, they're like, oh, well, let's go hang out where they... And I'm not the first person to do this, so I don't care. You're allowed to... I like the copycats. My point being is, you're right. He's not doing good. He doesn't have the selfie stick. He doesn't have the chutzpah, as they say. He doesn't have the...
And he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's not even passionate.
They take away your guns.
I want to live in a country where kids don't get shot.
He just keeps saying the same thing over again, like, bro, nobody wants to live in a country where kids are getting shot. And, like, we're actively trying to stop this. But all you do is you're like, we should have a gun-free zone. And it's like, then what do we do when the kids get shot? Call the guys with guns and tell them to come? That's insane, dude.
Yeah, and when they take away the guns, the only people that have the guns are the cops, military, and criminals. So, I mean...
But it's like, we want to create a place where there's no guns. What happens if someone walks past that sign? You better call the guy with the gun. Why don't we have a guy with a gun there? No, it's a gun-free zone. Okay, you know what, dude? It's like the energy thing. They're like, carbon emissions are bad. We have nuclear power. No, nuclear you can't do. Why? You know, it's bad. Why is it bad? Well, you know, whatever. Okay, well, they're not offering solutions, they're offering problems. And you know why? Probably because when they make more problems, they can vote to say they're the ones who are going to solve the problems, and they just make more problems.
Yeah, I think you got a really strong point. I mean, when I walk and I go through DC, there's this weird energy of just red tape. Like, they want more crap to complain about or to legislate.
Yeah, they need it.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want to let racism go.
And they never want a solution. To your point, they never want a solution because they can always create the fear and and I mean, the reality is, one of the things we've done in Oklahoma, and we're keeping pushing for other schools to do this, put a big sign out in front of the school that says, some staff here are armed. Mm-hmm. And if you enter here to hurt kids, they will use all forces necessary to take you out.
There you go.
Hey, you don't know who it is, you don't know where it is, but guess what? You're not going to come into our schools and attack our kids. You're not going to do it. And, you know, or you can have the opposite, which is what we've seen other places around the country. Basically put up a big sign that goes, don't worry, there is no one here with a gun, and we've got the most precious asset possible, our kids. And don't worry, there's no gun. By the way,
that's the craziest thing to me.
It's absurd.
So, have you seen the Veritas thing where they would go door to door and they were like, you know, do you favor gun control? And they're like, yes. Like, would you be willing to put up a sign in your yard saying "proud gun-free home"? And they're like, no. And he was like, why not? And they were like, because we'd be inviting criminals. And they were like, are you saying you think you need a gun to defend yourself? And they're like,
It's just it's just common sense. It's not. It's not anything. You know. It's not rocket science. It's just common sense.
What is this?
You know, Alex, I did notice earlier.
I was just gonna ask Alex if, you know, a water drop got on you and then you kind of like got shaken and then a gremlin troll came out and that was that guy who was there. Sorry, I just had a stupid comment.
But that was gonna be my point. Is I saw Alex over there with this, you know, kind of doing the selfie routine earlier. Look at the angle there. Is he even getting them? And
that's what I'm saying. You got to go high, and everybody thinks I'm short. You have to have the angle. You got to get, and you got to try to make your face look thinner.
Great point.
I mean, you know, when it comes to confronting these politicians, if you're not passionate about it like this guy, it's just kind of a dud. And I was giving Marjorie some pointers. I think that you have to not engage a little bit, maybe engage in, because you want to act like you're on the same level. But that's what I talked about when I first went to like city council meetings, and I would speak seriously. They wouldn't. And
I think you should engage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But my point being is, what I want to do when I troll them is I want them to engage. So you want to engage with what the person doesn't want you to say. Does that make sense? Like you like, if, as a politician, you want to engage with them, but you want to shut them down.
I would always start with like a softball question. I'm like, hey, how's your day going? Hey, you know, you're a really great person. And then they let their guard down, and then I would hit them hardcore with the question. Like,
you know, he has the most legendary stuff. You know, he went and confronted Larry Silverstein, So I mean, that is one of the most.
And Rockefeller, right? You got
Rockefeller, Rothschild, Zbigniew Brzezinski, Henry Kissinger a bunch of times.
I mean, that's and Luke's been to Epstein Island.
Tony Blair, Bill Clinton, Al Gore. We made Al Gore cancel his book tour.
I think he missed that one, didn't he?
Wow. You guys think it's a big deal? Little Dan Crenshaw, 5'3". Like, yeah, right. That's nothing compared to what Luke's done. So I'm gonna kiss your butt a little bit.
Normally, when I say that Luke's been to Epstein Island, he corrects it really quick. But this time,
I'm tired. I'm tired of this.
Well, he also went to Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, and
did you go to that big owl statue too?
Yeah.
No,
you, Moloch, you weren't you at the cremation of care ceremony at Bohemian Grove with
that was
Alex Jones?
That was Alex Jones who did that.
He said you were his date.
Here's what I want to say.
I know Alex likes to talk about that.
I want to go back to the troll stuff. I think the reason it works is because none of these people actually know how to deal with it. And if it were me, look, I understand like you're on your way somewhere, and so like Marjorie's clearly like got something to do. But for me, like, I actually would just stop and be like, "What's up?"
Yeah, I agree. I think you do need to engage him a little bit. But my point being is you got to be kind of smart and cunning. Yeah.
I'd let him talk, and then I'd be like, you want me to answer? And then I'd try to answer. And if they're just playing a troll game, I'd just be calm about it and be like, and then just be like, I'll answer, whatever. Ask me a question. I think the issue is that, especially for people like Crenshaw, the only thing he could say was, well, you hate veterans. Because he didn't have anything to say. He didn't have an argument to make. Anybody who's arguing that the wars in the Middle East were a mistake is right. They are correct. And like, the overwhelming majority of people in this country agree with that. So how do you defend being in favor of war today when most people are like, we don't want to be involved in this garbage anymore?
Tim, how obvious is it? How obvious was the pivot from Afghanistan to the Ukraine? It was like seamless. All of a sudden we're out of Afghanistan. Now we're just spending billions and billions and billions of dollars to the proxy war in Ukraine, killing Russians from our money. They have to continue to keep these wars going, and it's just so blatantly obvious. But sadly, everybody is asleep. They have no idea what's really happening.
How do you wake them up?
I don't know, but
do you yell at people and call them big booty? And stuff?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Well, that's the other thing is too. When you're taking a nap and somebody shakes you and wakes you up from the nap, then you're like mad at the person for waking you up. So it's really hard. I think with me, and this is just me talking personally, when I tried to wake people up, and I'm sure Luke might have had the same thing. It's kind of hard. People don't want to know, that information because it's deep. You have to put a lot of time into it, and it's kind of negative vibrational energy. It puts you in this bad headspace. But for me, what's been effective in making people question their reality is comedy. And you said earlier that they don't have solutions. Well, I think they do. It's a Hegelian dialectic where they do have solutions called problem, reaction, solution. But the solution that we have, that we want, and what they want is so different. And they have a saying is, the ends justify the means. So it's like we need to kind of do the same thing, kind of like the Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. And in that, one of the things is whatever you do wrong or whatever you get accused of, accuse the accuser of the same thing. Yep. And that's what we have to do is we kind of have to use their rules against them and create the solution that we want where kids, are not being indoctrinated, and then we kind of use the Hegelian dialectic against the new world order deep state.
Well, for me personally, just being happy, healthy, and prosperous is an act of resistance in our modern day society. Yeah. And if you could be an example of that, and if you could lead by example, that's one of the biggest things you could do. Open the door. You can't push people through because the more you do, the more you're going to have a negative effect with it. And I think leading with solutions, celebrating our victories, and just admitting, yes, we're living in very tumultuous, crazy times, but these times also provide us an opportunity to challenge ourselves and make us the best version of ourselves that we could create right now with this huge uphill battle that seems impossible. But in that journey, we're going to learn and have a lot of incredible learning lessons that are going to stay with us for the rest of our lives.
Did we learn from the pandemic? No, I mean, that's brilliant. But
a lot of people have learned from 9/11. They learned from Iraq. And again, it's a balance, yin and yang. There's negative forces, there's positive forces in this world. Which one are you going to give your energy towards, right? So I think it's a choice that we all make constantly. And I think if we focus on helping people, not being victims, because there's a lot of victims. And if we could prevent people from being victims of the next PSYOP, of the next mind control, of the next scam that's going to be hitting people, that's a huge victory in itself. And it's up to the person themselves to decide if they're going to be a victim or if they're going to be thriving in this world. It's your choice.
How many people are doing like survival training?
I am, and there's a huge interest in it, and there's been a lot of classes that have been selling out all over the country with individuals doing these types of trainings because one, it's fun, and two, it's great to have a skill that you could actually offer to a community that would be wonderful. Even if ish hits the fan, you will be prepared no matter what. That's why I started Apocalypse Survival, a part of my program on wearechange.org.
It's funny that you said ish hits the fan.
Yeah.
So it just sounded like you said
ish hits the fan.
You sound like you said shits the fan.
Ish hits the fan. Family. I still said it in a family-friendly way.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.